Cool. Here at YCS Raleigh, we have here top 16 and top 8. My goodness, please introduce yourselves to the world.
I'm Aditya.
And I'm Aaron. And we played the same deck list card for card. We built it Friday night, or Thursday night, sorry, with Dylan from Cali. Big shout out to him for helping finalize it. Yeah, performed really well.
What's the deck?
Snake Eye Kashtira. I think it's the best deck as of right now.
What made y'all decide to play post banless though?
We were able to adjust the extra deck in a way that like adjusted for like board breakers, hand traps. Like I think it gave us a lot of options. The synchro lines were good, but I think they had like some flaws in terms of like getting hand trapped and like just taking up extra deck slots. So we just went for a little bit more of a diverse approach and covered all of our bases, and it worked out.
Okay, sweet. Before we start deck profile, any shout outs, guys?
Yeah, so for me, Nate Garcia and Tuesday Night Testing for all the help and support, Dylan and Aditya for the theory, Jesse for the last minute hotel room, Epic Cards and Games as always, and then Robina, Hash, Nick Renninger, Darian, Austin Crew, Waff, and Disciples for the hype and following me along.
Shout out to all the guys that came here with, of course, Aaron, Dylan, the guy that tested us. Shout out to Will for also talking his first YCS in like forever. Shout out to the team Inspire, Dueling Guard, Tenfold, all my sponsors. Shout out to Adam for lending me cards, Card Haven, and shout out to Jose and Jesse for lending me cards and pop ups.
Without further ado, we'll see top 16.
Yeah, so it's going to skip through a lot of the normal Snake Eye stuff. These ratios have been pretty standard for as long as the deck's been played, and we didn't make any adjustments to that. So just a normal, I think this is 19 cards, so 19 sounds right. We don't play 1-for-1 because our non-engine is mostly not monsters, so we didn't want that to like just be a dead card in our hand.
Did you consider using 2 witches for the event though?
No, so we're playing 42. We just wanted to maximize consistency, but also just like have non-engine that we could fit as well.
And then there was a few times that I did side out one of the witches.
Yeah, going second you can because you're seeing the 6 card. In general, like most of the games that I lost were games where I couldn't play the game, so I couldn't imagine playing any less than what I did. And then for the cash package, we still played Wraithsoft, Birth, 2 Unicorn, 2 Fender. So you could play one of this in the main. I wanted to save the side deck slot because in general it's like really hard to side at the moment. It's like very wide format. Wraithsoft is the best if you don't get drolled, obviously, because you get the extra send. And then Unicorn Birth were like an actual like part of the end board at times. So if you just open Unicorn plus Ash, like you can do like cool stuff where you just like end on this, and it's like a legit interrupt against like Branded, or like because you lose the synchros, that magic may get scarier. So I just like the options that this deck gave. They're obviously fantastic going second against like Voice's Voice. These 2 cards like push for a lot and are difficult to out.
Considered using 1 Unicorn?
I think I would play more than less Unicorn because in general it's 2 bodies compared to Fender being 1 a lot of the time. So I think I prefer that one. But Wraithsoft giving you the option for Fender post going second is really nice. And then non-engine 3 Imperm, Call by the Grave, 2 Econ. This is we didn't have any hand traps outside of this in the main just because we didn't think they were necessary, but this is like also a pseudo board breaker and a good 6 cards, so we didn't like feel like it was unnecessary, and there weren't better board breakers that we could play. Called by just hit hand traps and like is good going second into a lot of decks. Econ is fantastic into the mirror, and it's like all the fire decks, but it was like the worst against everything else, so we didn't want to maximize on it in that spot. And then we played 3 Droplet, which I think is just probably like one of the MVPs of the weekend. Just has a lot of coverage, hits pretty much every matchup to some capacity. Third Book of Eclipse, shout out to Dylan. Like this was like his like main thing. I played it a couple weeks ago. I wasn't sure how it translated to the new format, and it just still performed like amazing. A lot of boards are still a lot of monsters now, and like the new Dissipator Omega like hand loop board. If you eclipse them, they end on nothing. They just have like IP and that's it.
Did it ever backfire for you?
No, like there were some times where like maybe it wasn't like the best, and like maybe a hand trap would have been better going first. But overall, like going second, it won me like enough games to where I thought it was justified.
There was one game that I had to use Eclipse and just like dodge it. That was really how I talked about the game.
Yeah, like it has a lot of utility as well. And then 3 Tactic, just the best board breaker. I was like kind of skeptical of this card because I didn't want any dead cards in my deck going first, especially if like other people aren't breakers. But I think going second, like the payoff is just so high that you have to play it in the main. And then 42 cards, yeah. And then extra deck Anima, which is the new Link Revo, IP. So Pit Knight early. This is a nice combo piece of the end board. If you were scared of breakers, would have just been this. And you can now like you have an extra interrupt, or you can make Apo. We play Underworld Goddess in the extra deck. So there's a lot of versatility that this provides.
That line also plays around Ghost Dealers.
Yeah, so I think like I said, the extra deck just has a lot of options, and now you can like cater the end board to what it is, and you're not going for like the standard board because there's no negates. So like there's the less generic. SP, just generic, very good card. Both Charmers, still mandatory in my opinion. And then Nightmare Phoenix. Yeah, I think all of these cards just have utility, and then with all the Sun decks running around, like having this to outgoes in and just other stuff is nice. Selene and Promethean, I think these are both mandatory. Yeah, just Selene for access code / Apo turn 1, and then Promethean, very good card. Access code, Appaloosa, Raging Phoenix, Atlantis, just all standard kill cards / Appaloosa is a very good generic end board piece. And then Underworld Goddess was like one of the cards that I was a really big fan of. So Tactics was like in general fantastic against like the pure Snake Eye deck. Now there's no negates. So if you get into a position where they try to do it, you can just IP into Goddess, link off their board if they have one, and then you don't have any monsters that can be taken, which I thought was like a really big plus for the card. And then also it outs like problem cards like Lady Labyrinth, which I played, or Chaos Angel, which can all just sometimes be difficult to out without spells.
Nice. You used it this weekend?
I want to say I probably summoned this card at least like almost half of my games.
Yeah, I think it's very good. And it also stops Charmers as well, so it's a negate that also like has utility. And then Draco Sack just for when you open Unicorn plus Diabell Star, just gives you a lot more push. And then it also lets you make Appaloosa early if you don't value the Unicorn on your end board. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, sorry. Oh, so we have a side deck. That's a good point. So side deck 3 Nibiru, 3 Ash Blossom. These were our going first cards that also just provided some utility against like the runic decks, which is specifically an Ash Blossom. And then Nibiru I thought was the best going first card. We consider Dimensional Barrier because of like Voiceless Voice and some other stuff. But I figured like whenever you're playing a deck like this where you don't want to set cards, there wasn't really like a floodgate that I felt was good enough. And then Nibiru like could sometimes come in a clutch if you're going against like a really card combo deck. And it's the only card that has the highest payoff if they disrespect it. Like it's the only single hand trap where if they don't play around it, it can just like end the game when everything, if like they can play through Valor, like it doesn't do as much. And then spell card 3 Foolish Return. This could have been Abyssal or DD Crow. We just decided that this had like it was the best against Branded, which is a concern like with Gimmick Puppet and all of that. I ended up playing 0 Branded. I don't think you played any either.
No, honestly, for me, that could have been any 3 other cards. I never drew. No, I didn't.
Yeah, I drew it a couple of times. It wasn't like the most impactful, but I think for the theory, like we were concerned with Branded like being played amongst good players. It could have been Crow. That was like the other like option, but this doesn't lose to Appaloosa, so I thought it was like a little bit better. And then 3 Cosmic Cyclone is pretty generic. I think you kind of need it for like the runic decks running around. And then Harpy's Feather Duster, just as much as we could spare in the side deck for those decks. And then Anti-Spell Fragrance, and then Silvera. So whenever you do the Ash Witch combo, you can now end on this, and so you just like the normal Ash combo, and then at the end you just summon Witch and summon set Silvera. And this card is a hot red Archfiend of the Abyss, but it doesn't require as many bricks. And yeah, you just get like summon Witch back. You have a lot of follow up, and it actually won me around 1 where I negated an evenly match, and I could not have been any other card that won me the game. Good for you.
I played that 3 games. It won me all 3 games alone.
Yeah, I think this card was very good. Dramatic Snake Eye Chase may come in the future just because like you can get to it through the Snake Eye pack. It just only works off a Witch. But I think this was a fantastic call for the weekend.
Nice. Well, congrats on the tops, guys. You know, 11 rounds of Swiss, right?
Yeah, 11 and
1,800 players.
Yeah, big event.
Yeah. Until next time, everyone.
Appreciate it, man.